It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show live on WPPM 106.5 Philly. Philly was really good, man. I'm excited to be back home. Listen, spent some time in Nashville last week. As my man Guy from South Philly would say, Nashville owes me nothing. Nothing. Had a great time there. The National Urban League Conference. I was busy. Resume reviews, LinkedIn program audits. LinkedIn profile audits. Hosted the Digital Career Success Series live. Some of you may not know about that show. I host a show for the National Urban League called the Digital Career Success Series. And usually we do it every other week. We'll start back September 9th. We are on hiatus because we do 3 shows at the National Urban League Conference. And this year that conference was held in Nashville, Tennessee at the Music City Center. Had a blast. It was amazing. Things were great. And we hosted 3 shows there. And I was excited to host them all. We did one on transferable skills. We did one on Brand X, and we did one on the power of you, career, culture, community, and just teaching people kind of how to navigate right now in the space that we're currently existing in. So that was a great time. Extremely excited about that work and excited about this work that we do here at WPPM 106.5 FM Philly for the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. You know, it's been interesting. Philly showed up big in Nashville. I saw a lot of people from the Philly Urban League. I saw, of course, the CEO, the executive director, I believe his name's Darren. Saw him, saw Tia Watson, saw Carlin out there, saw Jordan out there. A lot of members from the Philly team. So Philly was well represented. And of course, I was in the building. So you know what we do. I had the mic all day Friday, 3 shows on the Career Connect Lounge. So, yeah, we had a good weekend, Philly. No, what we're actually having a good summer in Philly. Let me break it down. And listen, if you're challenging this, feel free to hit me up. 646-600-8510. 646-600-8510. I stand on it. We're having a good summer. So, of course, this is the 250th anniversary of this thing we call the United States of America. Philly. We started all of that. So, of course, we're celebrating base show. So I'm going to represent for the city. I'm going to hold us down. Trust me, you already know how that goes. South Philly, what's up? North Philly, what's up? If you were up there, I forgot about the World Cup, FIFA, Lemon Hill, Philadelphia Stadium, locked in. I saw the way that was moving. Really active out there in North Philly. I guess Brewery Town. I'm not sure what you're calling Lemon Hill, but let's just call it North Philly for this show. I saw it. It was amazing. I saw what y'all were doing out there. I love it. And then 2 weeks ago, I'm not going to say they capped it off, but the city went crazy. It was the announcement that LeBron James has landed with the Sixers. And look, I'm not here to talk sports. I'm not here to do a sports segment. We have other people on the station that do sports segments. But strip away the jersey, the highlight reels, and what actually happens this week, 2 weeks ago, was recruitment. Now, that's the lane I walk in. I can't do a sports show. I probably could, but I'm not doing a sports show. I'm doing a show about career, culture, community. By trade, I'm a recruiter, the best in the world at what I do. Check me, East Coast executives. So by trade, I'm a recruiter. And that's what this was about. This LeBron James situation was all about recruitment. And let me explain. The key to recruitment is to make your desires available. Show people what it is that you're looking for. And the way you do that is to make a pitch. So with LeBron James, somebody made a pitch. Somebody made a case. And somebody said yes. Bob Myers, president of this group that owns the Sixers, he didn't wait for LeBron to come to him. They have a relationship. I tell you guys all the time, relationships are everything in talent acquisition, career, workforce. Relationships are everything. Bob Myers said, I got a relationship. So he didn't wait for LeBron to come to him. He went on LeBron's own agent's podcast. I think it's Rich Paul. And he set and built a case, not only for himself, in real time, he built a case for Philly. Why the Sixers was the move for LeBron James. I can't knock them. I didn't see it go. I didn't see it happening. I didn't think it was going to come. And sometimes in talent acquisition and recruitment, that's how it works. It's not luck. It's not luck at all. It's that someone on the inside decided to go to bat for you. So picture you as the candidate, right? When someone on the inside decides to go to bat for you, for a candidate that everyone else assumed was out of reach. It happens all the time. I pitch candidates to companies. I pitch candidates to some of the best companies in the world. And sometimes you need somebody internally to go to bat for your candidates. Or you need a candidate to come to you. Now, I know about coming to people because that's kind of how I got started on this career path. Let me tell this story. I tell it often, but I'm going to tell it here today on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. It's interesting how people get opportunities. For me, the opportunity to get into staffing and recruitment many, many moons ago, I wanted to get in. I had interviewed Pittsburgh, Atlanta. I was interviewing Manpower, all these places. And I was getting dissed. I didn't have any experience. So it wasn't like I was a hot commodity. I wasn't LeBron James. I thought I was, but I knew I was good. At least I believed I could be. So I needed an opportunity. So I created one. So back then, when I started out, all the staffing and recruitment firms in Philadelphia were located on Market Street and JFK. Not all, but most. In that area between, let's just say, 30th Street Station, maybe cross the bridge, all the way down to about City Hall. So let's just cap it at 15th Street, 16th. And I decided that I was going to make a list of the 30 companies that I wanted to work for. And I just started walking into those companies. I literally started at 30th Street and start walking down Market, going over to JFK, which is a little north of Market Street, really just a block. And I was jumping in and out of the staffing firms, doing my thing, hitting them with my elevator pitch, hitting them with my commercial, telling them that I was great and that I wanted an opportunity. And everybody was turning me down. And then I met a lady named Joyce Holly. She was at company 14, I believe. The 14th place that I walked in, I met somebody that actually took some time to look at my resume and speak to me. She didn't have an opportunity for me, but she liked my approach. So she said, look, let's stay in touch. Relationships. A relationship was built there. So we stayed in touch. I kept moving, and I finally got to company 26, and I met two ladies, Terry Haley, Dottie Ackenbrack, and they gave me an opportunity to work as an on-site manager for a staffing firm that had an on-premise in South Philly. Shout out to everybody in South Philly. I was at the UPS Oregon Avenue. I had 250 temps working there in an administrative call center capacity. Killed it. Really, really built great relationships there. Got my feet wet, learned the staffing industry, but that dissolved with the UPS strike. And that lady, Joyce Holly, from company 14, I think it was, she called me up and said, hey, what you want to do? And I wasn't sure. So she told me that her and another lady, Patricia Troy, had started a staffing firm, and she wanted me to come work for them. They taught me the business. They taught me the business of staffing. Again, I had somebody inside, and that's what this show's about. Career, culture, community, but we're taking a shift. We have been doing the executive leadership series, and now we're going to launch a series that we're calling Gatekeepers. You see, a lot of things happen in the process of career. You need people that are inside, and oftentimes when I used to hear the term gatekeepers, I often believed that a gatekeeper was somebody that keeps you out, keeps you on the outside. I think a lot of us feel that way. But then I started thinking about it. I was talking to my coach, a person that coaches me, Nicole Smith, and she was telling me about the gatekeepers that bring you in and keep you in, the people that open the doors. And that was a flip, but I understood it. So in the case of Bob Myers and LeBron James, there was a gatekeeper that opened the door to an opportunity, and he was smart enough to step in it and become a Sixer. So we're excited to have him here, but this is about you. So you need a gatekeeper. Interesting thing about LeBron James, right? Well, let's even back up. When you say the word gatekeeper, because I just caught myself saying it, when you say the word gatekeeper out loud, you already feel something, right? When I say it, I think of somebody holding the gate and not letting me in. For most of us, that's who the person is. It's the person standing between you and what you want. That's the gatekeeper, right? The one who says no, the one who decides you're not ready, not qualified, not in. I felt that in so many ways when I was trying to get into staffing and recruiting. And I'm sure you have too. In whatever career you're looking to get into, you probably felt that there was a gatekeeper trying to keep you out. And listen, you can have people internally. You can already be in your career, in your organization, and feel that there are gatekeepers stopping you from getting promoted and things of that nature. And you're probably wondering, so why would I build a show around that word? And I'm not building a show around it. It's a series. And the reason and the answer to that is because somebody is making that call. Somebody is deciding who gets through. And for years on this show, I've been asking the people on the other side of the door, how'd you get in? What did it take? That's been a lot of the conversations here on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. And even before that on the Career Seekers Show, I built a whole platform around people coming on and telling me how they got in and what it took for them, right? For them. And that's an interesting approach to take. But listen, what you're seeing even with the Sixers situation, Bob Myers, LeBron James, is that LeBron's in, and now he's actually bringing other people in to the fold. KCP said he wants to come and play with LeBron. So typically, this happens even in workplaces. Sometimes you need an internal advocate. You know, we can go all day into the mentor and the sponsor conversation. This would be a sponsor conversation. Someone who's in the room speaking on your behalf. Bob Myers going to the brass at the Sixers and saying, look, I think I can pull this off. Let's get this man in the door. Easy decision for them. If you can make it happen, let's make it happen. So you have to have talent, right? So today I want to flip that. I want to talk to the person holding the door. I want to talk to the people that are providing opportunities. I also want to talk to you. Hit us up, 646-600-8510. 646-600-8510. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. You probably think I have a guest for the show today. I don't. Solo act. Octavia Gardine style. Shout out to her. She just launched her podcast, and it's a solo show. So I'm locked in today, man. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about gatekeepers. I want to support and assist all of you out here that are trying to get somewhere and you need somebody to cut you a break or show you how to get in. That's the conversation we're going to have today on this show. All right? So listen, when you talk about the whole gatekeeper concept, if you listen to this show again for any length of time, you know the format. I sit down with somebody who made it, who got the job, closed the deal, built a thing, and I asked them how. I asked them, what was the moment? What was the break? But here's what I started noticing after enough of those conversations, and I've had many of them. We've had amazing guests on this show. Shout out to Julio Gomez, Menda Harts. I mentioned Nicole Smith earlier. Julia Rock's been on the show. We've had Vidette Coleman. Shout out to her. I know they're bringing that National Association of African American Museums conference to Philly. I know it's this month. I guess headquartered out of the African American Museum. Lock in over there, man. That's going to be a great time. We need to get Vidette on the show. So let's do that. I know Omar Martinez is doing some shows live from the event. So she's busy. We're busy. We're going to make that happen. All right, let's get back to it. So what I was talking about, I started noticing after enough of those conversations with people that almost every one of them mentions a person, a human, a hiring manager who took a chance, an investor who saw something, someone who could have said no and didn't. So I realized I've been asking the wrong question. I've been asking for the wrong side of the story. Yeah, there's value in the shows we've had. There's definitely value in people talking about their career journey and how they progressed and advanced. I know that. I know how people get through the door. I don't know what that person on the other side was actually thinking, though. And that's what I want the Gatekeepers segments to be about. Even with this week's news on LeBron, it's the same story. That's the same story, just has some cameras on it because he's a really big deal. Somebody advocated, somebody decided he was worth a bet, at least worth a phone call, and somebody made it happen. Most of us never get to hear the reasoning in our careers, our own careers. We just kind of float through sometimes, but most of us never get to hear the reasoning in our own careers. And that's what I want to go find, right? That's the piece that I think is going to make this show work, or this series work, the Gatekeepers. So it isn't going to be a gotcha show. It's not what we're doing. I'm not trying to put anybody on trial for saying no to people, not trying to embarrass anybody or make them out to be the bag person. I just want to know the real criteria, not the job description, but the actual thing that makes somebody lean in versus pass on a candidate. I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. I think we're going to find out a lot, not only about the process to career and job search success, but I think we're going to find out that there's some emotional intelligence involved in career search, in jobs, in promotions. Emotional intelligence, right? I want to lean in on how these decisions are being made, technical. I'm going to ask the real hiring managers what gets somebody screened out before they even get a real look. Because a lot of you guys are wondering, you're submitting jobs, I'm sorry. You're submitting applications through these applicant tracking systems. You're probably running your resume through all the LLM models, Claude, GPT. You got this great resume and you submit it to an applicant tracking system. And the job of that system is to screen you out anyway, not to screen you in. But some of you make it in. So you receive a phone call that you have an interview. What I want to know is, from real hiring managers, what gets somebody screened out, even when they get through the applicant tracking system and through some of the initial reviews? What is it that gets you screened out before they even have a chance to sit down and have a real talk with you? And down the line, I guess we'll ask people who advocate internally, the Bob Myers. I want to hear something from those people, right? Those types, if you will. What does it actually take for someone to go to bat for a candidate when other people are unsure? So let's walk through this. Some of you guys may not know how this works. So you apply for a job and a lot goes on. But let's just assume your resume gets on the desk of a hiring manager, somebody in HR, somebody in talent acquisition first. They take a look at the resume. They usually compare it to the job description. And then they start making some judgment calls based on the information you have there. That's why it's important to have accomplishment-based statements. Try to have something that's quantifiable on your resume that makes people pay attention to where you've had success. But ultimately, somebody's taking a look at that. And then they bring you in for an initial interview. And they have some conversations with you. They like you. They may not even bring you in. This may be a phone call because you can get screened out there as well. So you have to be prepared. Phone call, Zoom call, whatever, 2026. So you go through that process. You get the phone call, the Zoom call, you did a good job. They're going to refer you on to the hiring manager. This is the person that will probably be most impacted by your abilities. If you're successful, they'll probably be successful. Probably good to share behavioral-based stories on how you've been successful at other jobs and made your other supervisors successful as well, how you achieved. Then you'll get an opportunity to meet with that person. Could be a Zoom, could be in person, but you'll meet with them. And then if you're high enough up, they'll probably send you to have a conversation with the person that they report to. Maybe a director, a VP, somebody like that. And in some cases, after you meet with them, you may meet with the person that leads the organization. But then what happens after all of that? If you're fortunate enough to make it through those phases, they're all going to get together and they're going to start, let's just say, negotiating, conversing over your skill sets and your ability to fit the culture that they have there at that organization. And there's going to be a point in that conversation, that back and forth, where someone actually is going to go to bat for you as a candidate. Because there are going to be people in that process that aren't sure about you. They may have an agenda. They may want somebody else. But it's going to take somebody that's going to have to go to bat for you in that conversation. I see you, everybody locked in on LinkedIn and the people locked in on YouTube. Thank you so very much. 646-600-8510. 646-600-8510. All right. Somebody is going to have to go to bat for you because there will be people that are unsure. We've discussed that. Those are the people that I want to bring on to the Kenneth L. Johnson Show in this Gatekeeper series. Those are the people that I need to talk to because I want to know why that happens, why and how people are successful in this process. You see, these aren't hypotheticals. These are actual decisions happening right now, today, this week, about somebody's future. And most of us never get to hear how that decision really gets made. I want to change that. I really want to change that. So, it's the Gatekeeper Show. Let me tell you about what's coming. First up, first episode. I think we'll do this maybe in about 2 weeks. I think we'll start this out probably right before Labor Day. I want to sit down with a hiring manager who screened thousands of candidates, right? A hiring manager that's seen hundreds, if not thousands, of candidates. That's who I'm going to sit down with. And I'm going to ask that person directly, what gets someone cut before they even reach the interview? I keep thinking about sports, I guess because we started with LeBron James. What gets someone cut? I've been cut from a team. And it was important for me to get feedback from the coaching staff about why I didn't make the team. And that feedback was necessary because I thought I was good enough. It was an uncomfortable feeling to not make the cut. But I got better. I used that feedback to get better. And then I made the team. The next opportunity, and the next opportunity, and the next opportunity. Those are the things I'm talking about, right? We need someone who's going to give us that information, right? Not the polished answer, the real one. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. You know that's what we do. It's career, culture, community. So we're going to give the real answers. So that's going to be the first episode. We're going to talk about that, right? So after that, I think I'm going to do an episode built around what I'm calling the internal advocates, right? Those are the people we spoke about. Those are the people who champion someone else when no one's watching. Such a necessary person to have in the room, right? I want to talk about what that actually looks like and why it matters more than people really think. And right now it matters a lot because our touch points with actual humans are limited. So the systems may be kicking you out, but when you have an opportunity to sit in front of an actual human, what are you saying? What are you doing to make that person feel like you're someone that they need to go to bat for? And this just isn't coming into a job. You can be sitting internally in a position and need somebody to go to bat for you. That's what this is all about. It's the ask, right? It's the ask. I'm going to ask the questions, but I'm going to need something from you. That's how it works, right? I love my community here on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. Lock in with us on our social media feeds. Lock in with us here on WPPM 106.5 FM in Philly. Lock in with us on LinkedIn because I need you. And here's why I need you. I have an ask. 646-600-8510. Here's what I want from you. If there's a question that you've always wanted to ask the person on the other side of that interview desk, on the other side of that table, the recruiter, the investor, the hiring manager, if you have a question that you want to ask one of those types, again, the recruiter, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you needed some investment support, the investor, or maybe it's just a hiring manager, not just a hiring manager, maybe it's a hiring manager. If you have a question, send it to me. Send it to me here on LinkedIn. Send it to me at the station, 646-600-8510. Email me, I don't care. Give me the question, send it to me, and I will do my best to ask it for you. That's my promise to you. And if you know someone, I'm still on my asking phase. If you know someone who sits on that side of the door, the desk, the table, someone who makes the call on candidates, I need a favor. I need a real favor. I need you to nominate them. Have them come on the Career Seeker Show. I'm sorry, wow. Have them come on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show and chop it up with me. Again, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. I'm just trying to have some conversations that help you, the listener, you, a member of this community. That's the work we do each and every Monday here on WPPM 106.5 FM at 2 p.m. Eastern. All right, that's the thing I want to do. So I'm excited that we're getting ready to run this show. Shout out again to the person that helped me realize that this is a conversation that we need to have. The person that helped me realize that maybe I need your input, your insight on recruiters, hiring managers. Maybe I need you to nominate a person to come on the show that doesn't know about the Kenneth L. Johnson Show, that's comfortable sharing information with us around how decisions are made at that particular stage in the game. I want to talk to them. So this will be the Gatekeepers series. Same door, different side of the door on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. We'll promote it and let you guys know when it's going to start. But most importantly, we want you to be a part of it. It's that important to me. So please hit us up. Stay connected. So appreciative of everything that we're doing here. Thank you to everybody that makes this happen each and every Monday at 2 p.m. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show live on WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia. We'll see you next Monday. I believe live in studio. I'm excited about that. We're going to do what we do and what we do each and every Monday. Kenneth L. Johnson, checking out Kenneth L. Johnson Show. Thank you.